everybody, it's David here from Team Ultra Instinct bringing you a deck profile video on the new Set 11 Son Goku leader. I've actually been really enjoying this leader. I've been testing it. I haven't been like winning every single game with it, but I'll admit this has by far been one of my favorite decks in the game so far. I've really been a fan of Overrealm decks, and I think this one really has gotten me attached to an Overrealm leader. None of them in the past really did it except for Mass Saiyan, but this one, whew, really enjoying him. Sure, you may be wondering, why not Vegeks? Well, simple. I'm playing it more so for the Overrealm, whereas Vegeks isn't trying to utilize the Overrealm as much. But here, let's dive into the leader. We have the Son Goku leader. He is a burst 3 when this card attacks. Add up to one card from your life to your hand, and then draw one card. Self-Awakening built into him. You can draw a card on the Unawakened side, and he's already bursting you cards, which gets you that drop area filled up for some Overrealm. His Awaken ability is when you are at 4 or less life, you may draw one card, and then switch up to one of your energy to active mode, and then flip him over. And then on the Awaken side, he has a passive Double Strike ability on him, Super Saiyan 4, so, you know, that's already cool as is, right? And then during your turn, this card gets plus 5k power for every 8 black battle cards in your warp. So you can become a static 20k attacker on your turn, 25k, and if you somehow get there, maybe a 30k, but realistically the max you're going to get in a game is probably 25k. And then he actually has a passive draw ability rather than having to attack. So his activate main is place up to 4 black battle cards from your warp into your drop area, then draw one card. Already refueling for the Overrealm. It's letting you draw a card without attacking. So say you needed to see the card before you attacked and you were planning on attacking with something else. There you go. Or if you wanted to Overrealm before you attacked, you got that. Big fan of the leader. It's been doing some work for me, and I think he'll see some play. Sure, Vegeks exists, but I think that this leader will see play for people who prefer the Overrealm sort of decks. Dark Broly is also good, but this deck has a much different play style than Dark Broly. I chose to go with the Super Saiyan 4 Gohan Unison. I've been really liking this Unison, actually. His auto is when you activate an Overrealm skill, add a marker to him. His Unison ability for a +1 is place up to 2 black battle cards from your warp into your drop area. So that's paired up with the leader. That's actually pretty strong for refueling just for Overrealm, because you don't have to worry about if you're Awakened, you know, bursting. You're already probably going to get 6 into the drop fairly easily just between these two. His -3 I've actually used a lot, and yeah, you would hope to use it in the game, right? But it's add up to 2 black battle cards with powers between 20k and 30k from your warp to your hand. This card gets plus 15k power and dual attack for the turn. So yeah, he doesn't have double strike on him, but he can get the dual attack. He can help set up for other Overrealm plays. My favorite card to get out of the warp actually is this SS4 Bardock, but we'll get there when we get there. And Vegeks is a great target as well. I've really liked it so far, and the Vegeks package has been pretty nice. The 7-drop is obviously in here for the 6-drop that we have in the deck that I just lost down here. The 7-drop, it puts in a lot of work. Having that free Xeno Evolve ability onto the Vegeks is really nice. Obviously, when you're able to recur them, if you potentially milled them or they were sent to the warp, that's really nice because you know you have them. If you can get to that option of where you can use his -3, it sets it up so well. And obviously, it can be a free grab out of there just at the cost of 3 markers. But Vegeks, you know, puts on the pressure. He's a 30k double striker. When he attacks, warp one of your opponent's battle cards. I've really liked the Vegeks package upon release, and I actually wanted to run the Vegeks leader mainly with that package, but everyone else did a different route at first, and then eventually it finally saw the play it deserved. But I actually really like it in this deck. The super combo is a target for the Union Patara on this guy, and I really like this Overrealm card. And I know it's a TP card, but it's not that expensive right now. And if you plan on running something with it, hey, I'd recommend it in this deck. It's actually pretty good. It's a draw one card, 25k for Overrealm 4. And what does your leader do? Oh, it puts 4 cards from your warp into your drop. It sets it up perfectly. So, big fan of it, actually. Keep your eye out for that one. May not be insane, but I think it's pretty solid in here. We have Majin Buu's Human Extinction Attack. I think this card should be staple in any deck that involves getting your drop area filled. It's too good in a deck like this, especially if you're trying to see, you know, your staple Black Saiyan leader cards. So the Supreme Kai Time, Time Agent Vegeta, and Time Agent Trunks. Actually, I've had a lot of use out of being able to just choose one of your opponent's battle cards from the drop area and send it to the warp. So that's another good reason of utilizing this, especially with cards that actually get utility out of the drop area. I do think this one is probably more underrated in terms of that effect, and people look more so at the fact that it can mill 4 on yourself. But I like it for both effects. And yeah, plus 15k power, that's the main reason you're going to be using this. It's a mono black deck, so you're not going to have any issues with using this card at all. For power bursts, should be pretty self-explanatory. It's your sparking negate. Leader can set up for the sparking if you really need it for the next turn. Obviously, you're one card off, but you can just combo a card away. So if you're tapped out, power burst, bam. You have 2 targets in the deck. You have Son Goku making entrance and Supreme Kai of Time. Obviously, this is a negate, but it also sets up for your ISR play and your new SR Super Saiyan 4 Son Goku, which I really like. I've actually used this card before. I got memed and got final flashed on it, so that kind of felt bad. But when I played it, it felt like there was no issues with it. I just kind of played myself not thinking about that card. Really a big fan of the Super Saiyan 4. We'll dive more in depth on that in a little. Just a negate outside of that. Obviously, it has no combo power, but it's come in handy quite a bit. Being able to use potentially 12 negates is nice. You can switch from going from the aggro option to a more mid-range option. You're not going to be playing the long con for the most part in this deck, but it is a possibility, but realistically, you're not going to. Supreme Kai of Time, it's your basic. If this card gets placed in your drop area from your deck by a skill, you can play it from your drop area. And then it's just really good. It doesn't have unique. Works with your leader's burst. Works with the Majin Buu's human extinction attack. But it says if you have 5 or less cards in your hand when you combo with this card, give it an extra 5k combo power. So you can either use it for that, or if you just need to combo it away and boost something when you still have a big hand, it's still fine doing that. It's just a free play. Free plays are always dumb in the game. So great card. Great to get back with Power Burst if you have a low hand size. It's kind of a pseudo super combo without the draw, but it's one cost that you can grab with Power Burst, and it's just really strong. I chose to go with Demigra in my deck because it was a more overrun based deck. I have no issues getting the cards and drop to play him. Sure, he's very susceptible to counterplays, except for like Royal Condemnation or something like that. Yeah, they can put him in rest mode, but at least he's on the board. He stays on the board, but he's there for obvious reasons. He's a triple striker. He's your 40k ultimate card in the deck, and then when he swings at your opponent, just choose up to 4 battle cards from their hand and combo with them. You get hand knowledge, and you're stripping cards from their hand. It's just really strong. I feel like he's kind of died off a lot, but I think he might see some sort of resurgence. I'm a fan of it in this deck for sure. I don't think I would switch it. I don't even think I would put Black Smoke in here because realistically, I'm not going to have 12 cards in the drop that often. I could play Gogeta in here, but honestly, I still prefer the Demigra. Rebellion Hammer. This is a card I've been contemplating between. I don't know if I run it or want to run it in the main board or not. I've used it before. It's not like it wasn't useful, but sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. It can be a one-cost counterplay if needed, but it basically says if your leader card is black, send 3 black cards from your drop area to your warp. If the battle card being played has an energy cost of 4 or less, it is placed in its owner's drop area instead of being played. And then it's permanent as is. If you have 12 or more black cards in your warp, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 1. So it can be a one-cost counterplay. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does. But I've used it, I've charged it, I've placed it to the bottom of the deck using this super combo, which we'll go into. I'm running this at 4 now that Bibbidi is officially getting an errata to be only a maximum of 15k super combo. I'd prefer to just be able to draw cards and cycle through my hand and see different cards rather than just using Bibbidi. Now, if Bibbidi was still dumb, yeah, I'd probably max him out at 4. He's not as dumb now. He's still pretty dumb being a 15k super combo, but you know what? It's an extra 5k I'm willing to lose to see more cards. But basically what you do is if your life is at 4 or less and all of your energy is black, when this card is used in the combo, it gets 10k power for the combo, and then it is you choose 1 card from your hand, place it at the bottom of your deck, and then draw 2 cards. I think that's really strong. It's a mono-color deck, so you have no issues with getting that super combo live. Really big fan of this card in the deck, actually. So the most optimal turn 1 play is actually... So say you don't get your mill on the Time Agents or the Supreme Kai of Time. You whiff on it, yeah. but you get the 3 cards in your drop area. You play out your Super Saiyan 4 Gohan Unison, uh, overwhelm into the Vegeta, then you mill 3, and then hopefully hit one of your targets that can actually play out. I've done that before. It's felt fantastic. You do that, though. You do the Gohan Plus, and obviously it's auto would have procced, and you already have Gohan at 3 markers. The Vegeta out, that's a 15k critical. You milled 6 in 1 turn between this 1 card and your leader. You're applying pressure. I've felt like it's pretty useful, but you can refill your drop, so you potentially have, I don't know, let's say you played 2 cards off the next mill. You can put 2 cards from your warp back into your drop, so you still have that 3. Pretty nice. I mean, 15k crit's nice as well. I'm a fan of this card in this deck. I would not change that at all. Also another target for Vegeks, and that's also another big reason why I run it. Yes, we have 12 Vegeta targets and only 7 Trunks targets, but realistically, I've never missed on the Trunkses either, so it's fine. This is another one of your free plays, as I said. If it's placed in your drop area from your deck by a skill, you may play it. When it's played, you can add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, and then it is a unique blocker, meaning you can't play another copy of it if there's already one on board. And then this Trunks, as I was saying before, another target for Vegeks, Overwhelm 4. When it's played using Overwhelm, draw a card, and it gets 5k power for the turn. So it could be a 25k attacker that let you replace it, and that's pretty strong. Being a target for Vegeks is also nice. Overwhelm when you need it. I've used it before. It's not like I haven't used it. I definitely don't use it as often as some of my bigger Overwhelms once we get there if I can play them, but sometimes you just can't play them, and you need to Overwhelm for most of your turns. Yeah, you can miss a turn of Overwhelming, but I recommend only missing 1 turn maximum of Overwhelm. Otherwise, your deck isn't doing exactly what it should be doing. I'm running 2 SS3 Tag Team Son Gohan. That may change. I may up it by 1. This was in a recent addition by me. It actually did drop in price, and I'm surprised about that. As of right now, it's about $22. That could change. But basically, it's saying it has unique. It's a blocker, and it can be played if one of your black battle cards is removed from your battle area by a skill. So ideally, what's happening here is we're either Xeno evolving, then playing them, or we're doing our Overwhelm skill at the end of turn. When it removes the card, it plays it for free. So most of the time, we're not using it for aggro purposes. Sure, if we need to, we will, but generally it's just for blocking. It's worked out for me already. I've had people remove it, is what it is. I mean, what can I do about it? But big fan of it in here, actually. I did think about putting in as counterpart the SS3 Tag Team Trunks. I'm back and forth on it. I'm not 100% sure how I feel on it. Then we have Time Agent Vegeta, another one of your cards you play for free if your leader is a Black Saiyan and it gets milled from your deck by a skill. Unique, and the permanent is if it gets removed from your battle area, to send to the warp instead. Activate Battle. I've used it to activate Battle every now and then. I just don't get the full use out of it. Basically, what we're using it for is the 19k attacker and being a target for Vegeks. But the Activate Battle is pay 2. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 less and send it to the warp. So, gotten some use out of it. Not huge use out of that ability, but sometimes it comes in clutch. This is the ISR that you can play in this deck with no issues. There is no other colors in this deck. I don't even really feel like I need to run Champa because most of my targets have double strike if needed or some sort of keyword. Sure, I don't have it on the Revive Ravager Vegeta. That's okay. I've felt pretty confident with the deck overall, though. But him being essentially 1-drop off of the Son Goku making an entrance is really nice. He's a 25k double striker. Can't be played if you have basically no black card, or if you have a non-black card, so basically a red, a blue, a yellow, a green, so on. If you have any of those in any public area, you can't play him. If you have 3 or less energy, you can't play him from any area, so you're playing him on turn 4. Well, unless your opponent ramps you, I guess, but most of the time you're playing him on turn 4. What we're utilizing him for the most part for is for his Activate main, which is to choose up to 4 black battle cards in your warp and place them in the drop area. So basically it's going to be comboing with the leader as well to fill up your drop area faster. So say you don't have the Gohan out, it's another option of getting 8 in there at once, so then you can set up for maybe an Overwhelm 6 card. Another Xeno Evolve Goku. He is double strike, not triple strike, unfortunately, but that is also fine because he'd probably be a little too good then. When a card evolves into this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and send it to its owner's warp. I've had a lot of use out of that. Warping one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier is always great. Then he gains triple attack for the turn, so he's a 30k triple attack double strike for a turn. His auto is actually really strong. Choose one card in your hand, send it to the warp. When your opponent attacks, negate the skill, then negate this skill for the turn. So that can, if that sits on the board, that can be used turn by turn. Obviously not multiple times in one turn, but say you don't kill him the next turn somehow, then at least during your turn, you're going to have another negate. I really like the card. I think it's fine as a 2-of. I can get it back with SS4 Gohan for my warp, so I'm not too worried about it. It definitely hasn't been my #1 game ender. It's just an alternate win con for me. Vegeks or even Bardock has been a great game ender. This card I've started to grow on. But the other Goku in here, SS3 Son Goku, man on a mission. He's Overwhelm 6, double strike crit. Double strike crit for free. I'll take that any day. I have been able to do that on turn 1. It has felt very nice. Basically what I do, swing leader, then Majin Buu's human extinction attack, drops filled up, cool, overwhelm into the SS3 Son Goku, man on a mission. And it's felt fantastic. I haven't had any issues with it. I originally was running it at 4, but I felt like I started seeing it a little too often, so I dropped it down to 3. And I think I bumped in the Gohan and I dropped down another card. I think maybe the Trunks. I don't remember what I dropped by 1. I might up Majin Buu's human extinction attack by 1, though. Not sure what I would modify for that. Maybe drop a Rebellion Hammer. Still not 100%. We're making edits. But this SS4 Bardock Combat Instincts, at first, I thought this card was just good, and now I'm starting to think this card's great. I really like it. It can be used for board removal. It's obviously some hand hate. You get to choose the 2 cards from your opponent's hand. So choose 2 cards in your opponent's hand and warp them when you use them or play them using Overwhelm. Very good, very good. He's a dual attacker. So this is all for just 3 black energy. And I've used him to clear board and remove some cards from their hand. And then I've even used it to swing at leader, obviously. He applies great pressure, just being a 30k attacker. He has really grown on me, and man, him with the Gohan, it's just very strong. He's great with Gohan leader as well. I wasn't really liking the Gohan leader as much as I like this Goku leader, but it's just a great card. I do recommend it in the deck. You may like it as a 2-of, you may not like it in there at all, but I've really enjoyed it in here. Really haven't had any issues with it. I've had many, many times where I could play it, and I took advantage of many of those times that I could. I don't think there's been a single game where I haven't dropped him unless I was getting aggroed out very early. But I do suggest this card. Very great. Then we have the Vegeks. Originally, yes, it would have been busted with Bibbidi because you could combo Bibbidi, Overwhelm, send the Bibbidi to your warp. Cool. And then grab that Bibbidi using this Vegeks, which is when this card is played, add up to 1 battle card with an energy cost of 4 or less from your warp and add it to your hand. Yeah, Union Potara, Trunks Xeno, Vegeta Xeno, so we talked about that already. And you can choose battle cards in your warp to use it for Union. And he's a 25k double striker. So ideally, the main targets we're going to grab off of his auto is probably the super combo or tag team Gohan. The rest are just targets if you really wanted to grab them. So say you didn't have this or this in the warp. Maybe next best target is probably your Overwhelm card or the Supreme Kai of Time. Maybe the Goku if you really need to negate again. But the ideal targets are the Gohan. Yeah, the Gohan and the Vegeta. Both of them worked out very well. Sideboard in here. This is a work in progress still. Probably isn't finalized. I'm probably going to take out Burning Slash. Not many cards negate counterattacks right now. There are some out there. I'm probably going to take that one out, though. I want to run the new TP Mass Saiyan in the sideboard, potentially in the main board, but probably in the sideboard. Dark Power Black Mass Saiyan, standard staple for black. Hey, if your opponent's spamming out cards via autos or activate main skills that are 15k power or less, card staple there. If you need to awaken quicker, too, you got that. But make them discard 2 for their free plays, punish them. Remote Serious Bomb. This is probably more so for the matchup of Sin Shenron This could actually change to max power Kamehameha just so I have multi-use. But at the same time, they get to a certain point where you can't even warp it. So I'm not 100%. I could do both, but I think I'd rather run one or the other. So remote Serious Bomber, max power Kamehameha. Mechikabura, the Broken Seal. He is basically to stop any big plays from happening. So say I was facing Invoker or something, I just name a Goku with an energy cost of 6. Cool, they can't play it. Obviously, we're not going to be grabbing any Dark Dragon Balls. It's more so to just stop a play from happening the next turn. He's at 2. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but that's what he's at. Then we have Crisis Crusher Son Goku. This card has been staple against most aggro decks. Since 10k is sort of a thing now, I did want to run it as well for that, but it's mostly so opponents can be swinging on my Gohan with a 1-drop that has double strike or something like that. He's also a target for Xeno Evolve, so I thought, hey, why not be a decent sideboard for the deck? SS Bardock the Tenacious, you may be wondering why that isn't in main board. I felt like if I was facing a more control matchup, or I'm anticipating facing some semi-control matchups where they just don't swing a lot during their turn, because basically what he is he's just auto-nimbusing to their next turn. You can't do it turn by turn, I don't think. So when this card is played using Overwhelm, your opponent can only attack with battle cards once during your turn. When this card is played, you can't play copies of this card during your next turn. Yeah. So Nimbus for the next turn at least. You can't play him again after that to keep it going. But 25k, he costs 1 black energy. It doesn't show that in the text that I have pulled up. But I can see that. And, you know, 25k Overwhelm, it's an Overwhelm card as well, so that's always nice. But it's just for heavy battle card attacks. I think it's fine at 3. I might drop it to 2. I don't know. I'm still working on the sideboard, like I said. It probably won't go on the main board. I think I'm pretty finalized on the main board aside from a couple number adjustments. But, yeah. That was actually the whole deck profile in this deck. Super Saiyan 4, Son Goku, Guardian of History. Really looking forward to playing this deck in person. I've been playing it online, but lots of fun. I might have to foil it out, maybe not, but I've got the majority of these cards already. Obviously, all the new cards are all I'm missing, so let's see how many of the new cards are in the deck. Obviously, the 4 super combos, Bardock, the new Gokus, that'll be easy to get, the new SR Gokus, Rebellion Hammer, which will be easy to get, and then the SR Unison. So, yeah, it shouldn't be too heavy on the new end of cards, but it is kind of heavy on, obviously, starter decks and set 10. So, hope you guys did enjoy this video. I hope some of you plan to try out this deck. I'm a huge fan of it. Let me know what your thoughts are on the deck. But leave a comment down below on what you think and if you're going to play this deck. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.